Welcome to the Edmonton Bubble, home to this year's World Junior Hockey Championship. And for Canada and Captain Kirby Dach, it was a long road to just get to this point. But today, the team is finally set to hit the ice, facing off against Vasily Podkolzin and Russia in its one and only warm-up game. Thanks so much for joining us here on TSN. I'm Laura Dyken, joined alongside Craig Button. We are ready for some hockey because, you know, between quarantine and all the canceled exhibition games and entering the bubble here in Edmonton, it has been a long road for Canada, facing some adversity, but now it's time to get to work. With plenty more, let's say hello to the two calling all the action here in Edmonton today. Here's Ray Ferraro and Gord Miller.
Canada didn't get Alexis Lafreniere back from last year's team, but did get a player who wasn't with the team a year ago. Kirby Dach was busy with the Chicago Blackhawks, right?
Yeah, terrific rookie season. Really grew as the season went on. The back half of the year, from December on, when he knew that he was finally staying in Chicago, his game started to jump in leaps and bounds. Now, when we watched Dach at the camp before they went into quarantine, he showed to be a man among boys, patience and poise, strong with the puck. What I found most interesting is he and his agent reached out to Hockey Canada when they found that the NHL wasn't going to start, and they said, he wants to be here. It's rare for an NHL player to want to come to the junior tournament and play. Dach's named the captain, and I think it's a good choice.
Canada and Russia finished 1-2 last year, the 14th time that's happened at the World Junior Hockey Championship.
All right, thanks very much, gentlemen. And for most of these players here today, Craig, this is their first real action since mid-March. Has more of a feeling of just being a warm-up game.
Oh, it's more than just a warm-up game. I can guarantee you that the coaching staffs for both of these teams are excited about playing one another. Yes, it's a real good test. Yes, it doesn't mean very much. But in terms of getting the players into game competition and the coaches being able to assess how they measure up against two of the very best teams in this tournament, that's what this game is all about.
When it comes to the starting goaltenders, it's number one versus number one. And head coach Andre Tourigny going with Devin Levi in net for Team Canada, the 7th round pick by the Panthers this year, going up against Yaroslav Askarov, the highest Russian goaltender ever drafted after he went 11th overall to Nashville this past October. It's the most wonderful time of the year, guys. It has been a long time coming for Team Canada, and the players are ready to get out there. Always entertaining when these two teams meet. Puck Drop is next from Edmonton.
The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Esso. The Esso brand has fueled Canada's love of hockey for over 80 years. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey teams. By TELUS, helping build stronger communities on and off the ice. When we give back together, we're all connected for good. And by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of Team Canada. The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Chevrolet. Find new reasons to cheer. Find new roads.
It's the night before Christmas, and the final World Junior tune-up has Canada taking on Russia. The two teams that met for the gold medal a year ago in Ostrava in the Czech Republic. We'll get 3 sets of officials in each period of this game tonight. Mike Langen and Olivier Gou will work the first period as the referees. Tarrington Wanzek and Jonathan Deschamps are the linesmen. Of course, the officials haven't had a chance to work out the bugs yet either, so they're rotating through these games. And there is 18-year-old Yaroslav Askarov, returns from last year's team for the Russians. We talked about it earlier. Pulled twice in the tournament last year, including in the semifinal against the Swedes. And there is Devin Levi, the 18-year-old, who'll be 19 on Sunday. The starting goalie for Canada in his first IHF competition. He was, however, the MVP of the World Junior A Challenge in 2019. Igor Larionov is part of Russia's storied hockey past. Now tries to chart a course for the future as the first-time head coach of their national junior team. And behind the bench for Canada, 46-year-old Andre Tourigny, a 4-time assistant for the Canadian junior team, was with the club last year, winning a gold medal in the Czech Republic. He's the head coach of the Ottawa 67.
Let's see if I can still do this, boys. Ready?
Awesome.
All right, have a good one, boys.
That was Olivier Gouin. Officials are people too. Get the legs moving. And so here is Kirby Dach, the Canadian captain, swings it across to Jamie Drysdale. Drysdale, one of 6 Canadian players back from last year, and a quick chance there for another Dylan Cousins. Cousins trying to dig it free, along with Dach. And Jack Quinn, the 3rd member of this forward line. A right-hand shot playing left wing for Canada. And the puck goes off the end boards to Cousins. Ponomarev trying to clear it out, held to the line by Dach. And he finds Bowen Byram. Byram and Jamie Drysdale, 2 top 5 picks. The top defense pairing for Canada. Jan Kuznetsov, a Calgary Flames 2nd rounder. Reverse the puck there. Dylan Holloway spun his man around. He's going to get the first penalty of the game as he got his stick on Maxim Groshev, and the Russians will go to the power play.
Dylan Holloway, who plays at the University of Wisconsin, played 2 games for Wisconsin.
Canada number 10, minor penalty for holding.
And then when he came to the Canadian camp, had to quarantine. They get started into camp. Then the camp got shut down. They had to quarantine again. He gets his first shift. He's on the ice about 4 seconds, and he's in the penalty box.
We saw this in the pre-tournament game last night between the United States and the Finns when Arthur Kaliev, having not played since mid-March, took a 12-minute penalty in the opening moments. Now the Russians on the power play, and a quick chance there, hammered wide by Yegor Chinakov.
Team Canada penalty to number 10, Dylan Holloway, 2 minutes for holding.
On the point of power play, along with Semyon Chichakov. And here's Chichakov with it. National 4th round pick. And then Vasily Podkolzin, playing in his 3rd World Junior for the Russians. Vancouver 1st round pick, 10th overall in 2019.
And as you'd expect, Podkolzin's role has grown year by year. Although a rarity, Valeri Bragin relied on Podkolzin quite a bit as an underage player.
The Russians have only 3 players back from last year. All 3 players were eligible. Bragin was famous for not taking 18-year-olds to the tournament. This year, Igor Larionov's got 7 players who are young enough to return next year. Chirahov romps that back for Mikhail Abramov, a Toronto 4th round pick in 2019. Swings it back across. And moving in is Spiridonov. That's stripped away from him. And banked back down the ice by Cole Perfetti. Check, that was Caden Dooley for Canada. And now Safonov drops it back. Abramov played for Victoria, going to the Quebec League this year before the season was halted. And Connor Zary has it back for Canada. 30 seconds to go in the Russian power play. Zary fires it back down to the Russian zone. The puck bounces to the side of Askarov. Wanted to play it quickly, but the whistle is blown. The face-off will be in the Russian zone.
A rarity for Russian goaltenders. Yaroslav Askarov plays the puck extremely well. He'll move it up the ice. Canada will have to be sharp. Last year in the tournament, he had all kinds of trouble settling into the game. He was highly touted, but just not ready to play at that level. His feet were jittery, his hands were moving all over the place. Nikolai Habibulin, who works with the goaltenders for Russia, said maybe it was a little bit much to expect so much from Askarov last year.
Kanayev works it back in for the Russians. 15 seconds to go in their power play. It's fired right back down the ice by Byram. Askarov's having a monster year in the KHL this year. A .962 save percentage in 7 games for St. Petersburg in the KHL, where he's coached by Valeri Bragin. Kanayev being watched there by Connor McMichael. All the way out of the box. No shots on goal for Russia on that power play. Here is Drysdale with it. Jamie Drysdale, 6th overall to Anaheim. Taps it back ahead. Drysdale and Byram promised to be a dynamite D pairing for the Canadian club. Byram 4th overall to Colorado in 2019, and we mentioned Drysdale 6th overall to Anaheim this year. And a big hit along the boards that time by Caden Korzak. Mohamedulin back to pick it up. Check here, Mohamedulin. Lost the handle. Dach has it back. Here's Kirby Dach with time. Fights off Kuzmadinov. And now Cousins comes in for it. Down the line by Dach. Puts it back down to Quinn. Jack Quinn with it. Canada changing on the fly. Here's Korzak, plays it ahead for Cousins. The Buffalo Sabres first-round pick. Cousins drops it back to Quinn. Quinn with a long shot that was blocked. There's Jakov got in the way in front. That's just Jakov. There's it back for Mohamedullah. He was a Jersey first-round pick in the most recent draft.
Good shift for what should be Canada's top line is Doc and Cousins along with Quinn hem the Russians in their zone.
Vasily Gritsuk works his way in, but the play is called offside at the Canadian line.
Well, Canada goes 8 defensemen deep today. And here's Caden Korzak from the Kelowna Rockets, who really finishes hard on the wall. He runs Kuznetsov out of room, finishes him nicely, and this game is important for both he and Jordan Spence as they want to kind of fight for position on the ladder to where you fit in this 8-defense roster that Canada has.
Normally the World Junior teams are allowed to bring 20 skaters and 3 goaltenders. This year it's 22 skaters and 3 goaltenders. They're only allowed to dress 20 skaters in a game, so there will be healthy scratches. Tonight, both teams are able to dress all 22 skaters. Here's Holloway back with it. Lost the handle for a moment. That shot fired high and wide. Safonov got that drive away. Kinahal lays it down to Safonov. Gritsuk comes in for it as well. Tied up in the corner by Thomas Holloway. Now moved ahead and brought out by Holloway. Holloway drafted by the Edmonton Oilers. 14th overall in the 2020 draft. Sanov out to center ice. Trying to move that in was Abramov. He got stymied at the line. Well, Abramov digging for it. And it's chipped out once again. And the puck was picked up by Zary. Connor Zary chips it back down to the Russian zone. Kirsanov. With Kanayev. Back to Kirsanov. He gets tied up at the line. The play's called offside once again.
You mentioned Canada's returnees, Gord. The 6 of them, you're looking at your top defense pair in Byram and Drysdale. What a luxury for Canada to have. Quinton Byfield, who's the youngest player on the roster for the 2nd year in a row. Dawson Mercer, who kind of slots in as the 13th forward. And Dylan Cousins and Connor McMichael, who both had excellent tournaments last year in Ostrava. McMichael quietly with 5 goals last year.
Including a big one against Russia in the gold medal game. Beachcott lays it back in deep for Groshev. Perfetti on it, chops at it. Grisham plays it back at the point. Bardakov drops it back, and that long shot gloved by Levi, and he'll hang on. No score here in the first period in Edmonton.
Devin Levi getting the start, the nod from the coaching staff for Canada tonight, and a look at the lightning fast pads. You know, head coach Andre Tourigny kept harkening back to this when he was asked what stood out for Levi among the other netminders. They love his quickness, and he works hard at it, guys. 3.5 hours he takes every game to prepare. Now, the hand-eye coordination and such, but it's also mental preparation. Says he taps into his enjoyment of the game.
Brought in Amirov with a long shot, and Amirov, the Toronto first-round pick, has that glove by Levi, who had quite a year last year. He was the MVP of the World Junior A Championship in December of 2019. Then in the regular season for Carleton Place in the Central Canada Junior League, he was the MVP and the goalie of the year before moving on to Northeastern University, where he is a computer science major.
Pretty analytical guy and looks at his craft in the net the same way. Not a big guy, maybe the same size as UC Saros in Nashville, so we've got to be careful not to get too active, get down on their knees too quickly.
Now Amirov with a steal, centers it, drop right back, and a quick chance there, fired wide by Kuznetsov. Scooped up by Perfetti. And through the middle he goes for Connor McMichael. Bud Colson moves away from Perfetti. Kuznetsov. Back across to Amirov. Amirov with the Russians changing. Goes it back to Daniel Chega, who played a couple of years for Guelph in the Ontario League. This year he's back in the KHL playing for CSKA Moscow. Quinn battling for it. Now Now moved in by Doc as his top line goes back to work. Cousins trying to flip it back. It's picked off and brought out by Chinaha. Works it in. Chinaha drops it back. Quick took a centering pass. That just missed. Doc's got it back the other way for Canada. In comes Kirby Doc. Great move by Doc. Slides down to the goal mouth. And Askarov hangs on to that.
Pretty nifty rush by Kirby Doc. One thing Igor Larionov talked about when he took over the Russian team is to return to the basics of Russian hockey. This is the way the Russians used to play. There's a play in the neutral zone, nowhere to go. They turn around and go backwards. They hold the puck. They want to contain the puck. Hold it. This is a missed pass on a change, but it'll be really interesting to see as the tournament goes on. Can they play that old-style Russian game, or will the pace of today's game force them to get rid of the puck?
Jacob Pelche played that back for Canada. And now loose at center ice. Pelche goes racing to it. Skating's his calling card, and here he comes with it. Pelche heels back in the corner. Drops it down to Alex Newhook. Newhook throws that down to Holloway. Pivots off the inboards. The puck still loose. A quick catch of Pelche at the goal post. Rebound loose in front. Askarov's down. It's still loose. And Askarov finally covers it. Furious pressure there by Canada. And a great chance on the doorstep.
There's Jacob Pelche, who had an excellent camp for Canada. Plays in Val-d'Or in the Quebec League, the first-round pick of Calgary in 2019. And this line with Holloway and Newhook is going to be a matchup line, but not in the sense that they just check. They're going to score some goals, too. Pelche off the forecheck of Holloway gets two really good cracks. The first one gently off the crossbar, and now Askarov is swimming around in the crease, eventually gets his hands on it. The first good chance for Canada.
Quinton Byfield steps in now. Byfield, as you mentioned, a returnee from last year, did not get a shift in the gold medal game against the Russians. Had a giant year last season to Subway in the Ontario League and was the second overall pick in the draft for the LA Kings. Back at the point is Jordan Spence. Winds his way in. Spence slides that down to Zary. Honor Zary. Down to Dawson Mercer. Mercer centers it. Got by Byfield. Back at the point is Korzak. He finds Mercer with it. Mercer back in the corner for Byfield. That pass missed. Korzak moves up and finds Byfield again. Throws it back in front. That's flipped through the crease by Zary. Byfield slams into Shahovtsov.
And again, two good checks for Byfield.
Runs into Bardakov.
Part of that is using your size when you have to, or you've got the opportunity. Just a huge kid, Byfield. It's the second straight year he's Canada's youngest player, but now he goes at about 220 pounds.
32 goals in 45 games last year in the Ontario League as a 17-year-old. In comes Newhook with a chance. It's off the stick of Mohamedulin and out of play.
We get another look at that chance for Canada. Really good little stick lift by Pelche as Kanayev has the puck. He thinks he's got a clean lane out, and Pelche right there lifts his stick and then beats Askarov up over the glove, but it unfortunately hits the crossbar to stay in the blue paint.
It's hard to say, Ray, that one tournament would affect the player's draft status that drastically, but Askarov was likely penciled as a top 10 before the World Junior. Winds up going 11th overall to Nashville.
I think Nashville will be rather happy that he slipped there. Nashville, who's had unbelievable mileage out of Pekka Rinne. Rinne, a 7th-round pick from way back in the day. And as he gets a little long in the tooth, Askarov's going to show up at just about the right time.
Shot here, Mohamedulin. Moves that ahead, a great chance for Liam. Play back across. The pass by Bashkirov was knocked away by Levi. Lead pass by McMichael for Holloway. And Holloway comes in. He got taken down there by Mohamedulin. Now pick free for Chayka. Chayka scored 11 goals for Guelph last year as a defenseman. And Byram goes back for it. Byram flips it down to Drysdale. And away comes Drysdale, being harassed there by Afanasyev. Byram. Up ahead for Perfetti. In comes Cole Perfetti with room. Perfetti, a backhand shot. That's stopped by Askarov.
That's a slick little play at the line by Krebs and Perfetti.
Now Krebs Feeds it back down. A terrific chance for McMichael. He's turned away as well. 3 5-star chances for Canada here in the last couple of minutes. And Kuznetsov slides it ahead. In comes Abramov. Abramov winds and throws it back in front. And Levi makes the stop. A penalty coming to Canada. No score here in the opening period. You're watching the World Junior warm-up from Edmonton.
Assistant captain Bowen Byram, a returnee from last year's teams in the penalty box. A pretty slick rush up the ice here by Abramov as he gets outside of Byram. Byram's going to get the slash right here onto the hands. And Russia will go to the power play. They had one earlier, didn't get much done as Canada did a nice job killing that initial penalty.
Holloway wins that draw. The Canadians clear it out. Jakov plays it up, and as he does, interference called against Russia. And that'll do it for the power play 7 seconds in as Rodion Amirov goes off.
Russia number 27, minor penalty for interference.
And Amirov goes to the box. Time you probably have to just let the player go so you don't jeopardize the power play. Nothing happening there, and now we'll go to 4-on-4. The puck's by Amirov, just let him go. You know you got a defenseman back there, but Pelche draws the penalty. He's had a nice start. He's hit the goal post early, drawn a penalty here, shorthanded.
Cousins for the face-off on the 4-on-4. Picked up as Mohamedulin is being watched there by Doc. Russia won gold in the 2019 Hlinka Gretzky tournament in the Czech Republic last summer. As Mohamedulin works in December of 2019, that is. And 7 players from that team are here. Cousins, rink wide ahead to Doc. He's stripped by Mohamedulin, and Cousins brings it back. Dylan Cousins centers it, that's knocked down. Spiridonov couldn't clear it out. Here comes Cousins again. In shoots, and it's off the stick of Mohamedulin. Up and out of play.
Closed captioning of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship is brought to you in part by Bet99.net, Canada's newest destination for free sports information, odds, and casino. Every game starts at Bet99.
Last chance from Cousins, has a little bit of room here, gets to walk right into the middle of the ice. A nice poke check by Mohamedulin as the puck goes up over the glass. If you're just tuning in, there's no netting here. So the pucks jump over the glass and they're up under those tarps behind the net.
Chenka, long shot, knocked away by Levi. And Suzuki, cross-check down Bardakov. Canada settles things down as Thomas Harley of Mississauga of the Ontario League picks his way out. A Dallas first-round pick. He's the only prospect Dallas has in the tournament, but a very good one. A slick-skating defenseman.
Harley was here in the bubble with Dallas in August, played his first NHL game.
Had to play against Colorado in the qualification round in the bubble.
Said he'd go out for dinner, did a lot of sitting and just listening. Said he didn't have much to add.
McMichael throws that ahead, hit the linesman skate, and Krebs plays it rink wide. By the way, I mentioned earlier, the teams are allowed to dress 22 skaters each in the pre-tournament, but it's by mutual agreement. Canada and Russia have 21 dressed here this evening. Phil Tomasino is a scratch for Canada.
That talks a little bit to Canada's depth. 100 points in 62 games for Tomasino last year.
Here's Perfetti, one of 20 first-round picks on the Canadian roster. And one of 7 who was picked in the top 10 in the NHL draft. He was 10th overall to Winnipeg in the last NHL draft. And Ayazev swings back, and the teams are back to 5-on-5 now with 6:45 to go in the first period. Byfield, tangled there with Chisyakov. And here's Jordan Spence with it. Chipped ahead by Byfield with Mercer. Byfield kicks it ahead. Looks for Zeri. He's tied up in the corner by Safonov. Zeri stays on it. Out the other side it goes for Chisyakov. Now moved out by Safonov. Rink-wide pass was chopped down by Spence. And Jordan Spence slides it ahead for Mercer. He strips the puck away for Zary with a sharp angle shot. The puck still loose. And Askarov was down without a stick, but the puck stayed out.
Earlier it was Pelche off the goalpost. That was Zary. 2 Calgary first-round picks from successive years.
In comes Cousins, and Askarov has that in his proximity, draws some attention here in Edmonton. We're glad to have past Chevrolet Good Deeds Cup champions, at least in spirit, cheering on Team Canada to win this year. We want to hear your Good Deeds pitch. Visit ChevroletGoodsDeedsCup.ca for more details. Back in a bubble here in Edmonton, where the Stanley Cup was decided a few months ago. Off the face-off, top line back to work for Canada. Cousins, along with Doc and Quinn. Doc trying to dig it free, and Byram has it back for Canada. Through the middle for Kirby Doc. Into Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta, just northeast of Edmonton. Abramov swings away from Quinn, but falls, and Jack Quinn has it back. Plays for Andre Tournier with the Ottawa 67s. And now Drysdale flips it down. Doc down to Cousins, works free. Cousins trying to center it for Quinn, that bounced away. And Cousins is back on him. Abramov steps into him. Kuznetsov up ahead for Chayka. He got lined up there by Quinn and slides that down to the Canadian zone. Icing called against Russia.
Russia's had a little difficulty with the Canadian forecheck. They haven't broken out of the zone very cleanly and had to regroup and slap it back behind the net and try and go out the other side. And I'm sure Igor Larionov will want his guys to get back a little quicker to the puck so he can make that first direct pass and you don't have to keep it on the boards. You can get it off the boards and get out of the zone. But it's been a pretty nice job by Canada here in the first period. A 6-3 shot advantage. And the goal post, which is the best chance of them all.
Michael wins the face-off back. Held by Caden Dooley. His shot pinballs off a couple of legs. Now picked up in the corner by Perfetti. Back he goes for Barron, and Barron's long shot is gloved by Askarov. And you know, you talk about the big goal last year by Barrett Hayton to tie the game against Russia. Yep. Akil Thomas the winner. The goal that doesn't get talked about is the fact that Connor McMichael scored a minute after the Russians had scored to make it 3-1 in the third period of that game. That goal, not a work of art, bounced off his heel, but that goal got Canada back in the game.
That game was perilously close to getting out of control at that point. 3-1. They needed something good to happen.
Now Barron in for McMichael. 2 good chances in tight. Turned away by Askarov.
Well, I'm going to say early on here, Askarov looks a little different than he did last year. Last year, everything was just a battle for him. That's a really good save he made on a nice tip by McMichael.
Grosjean feeds it back to Beachcott. His long shot drifts wide. Offside. Plays it back around. Here's Beachcott, got tied up there by Krebs. Rolled in, and good chance there for Beachcott, and Levi turns that away. Bardakov threw his man down, and McMichael's got it back. McMichael being harassed there, banks it back to center ice for Krebs. Now Perfetti almost stole that. Grosjean has it back. Maxim Grosjean is a Tampa third-round pick, which means he's going to be a superstar in the NHL. Braden Point, go on and on.
There's a few.
Harley knocked that down through the middle for Holloway. Up with Newhook, but the pass bounced away. Podkolzin plays it back. Podkolzin was brilliant here in this building in the summer of 2018 in the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. Now moved in, that long shot by Amirov goes wide. Mohamedulin back with it. Tied up there by Braden Schneider. And behind the goal, Harley gets to it. Pelche chips it ahead. Newhook trying to get free. His stick is tied up. He's taken down by Huznadinov. And the penalty coming now as the Russians touch up. And Canada will get the power play with 2:53 to go in the first period.
This line is advertised that it's going to be a problem for other teams. Holloway, Pelche, and Newhook. Pelche's had a really good start. Holloway was in on the forecheck, and here's Alex Newhook, a powerful, quick skater, drawing up the sideboards, getting a chance up the boards and getting pulled down, drawing the penalty. Here's McMichael off the face-off win and the deflection, and Askarov in position to make 2 stops. But a really nice heads-up play by Spence as well as he fired that puck in from the point off the net onto the tape for McMichael to deflect.
Face-off going to the Russians, but they win the draw and clear it out. And Ray, your theory about the difference from an 18-year-old player to a 19-year-old player applies to goaltenders too.
It is amazing year to year watching a player return and what they look like that second time around. And Askarov looks completely different in the net than he did last year.
Krebs with it now. Drops it back to Cousins. Cousins feeds it back to Byram. Doc parked right to the doorstep as Cousins moves in. Tried to drop it back, picked off by Amirov. Looks ahead to Askarov. Askarov lost the puck, now Doc's got it back. Kirby Doc. Drops it off for Cousins, and Canada gets set up. Cousins got tied up there, and Safonov brings it out now for Russia. Tied up by Byram, and Krebs goes back for the loose puck. Krebs and Byram, 2 of the 11 Canadian players who played in that 2018 Hlinka Gretzky tournament here in Edmonton, coached by Andre Tournier. They won the gold medal that year.
Gordon, I'm watching these guys out on the power play, and as much as they've practiced, they've had very little action in the game. They haven't been able to scrimmage much, and it shows both teams trying to get set up on their power plays.
Byfield came streaking in there. Now moved up by Kirsanov. Kirill Kirsanov, who's eligible for the upcoming draft. You can count on one hand the number of draft-eligible players Valery Braga never brought to this tournament. And away comes Quinn with it. Drops it off to Perfetti. Byfield. Down to Newhook. That's picked off. 10 seconds to go on the power play, and the Russians clear it down. Minutes ago in the first period. No shots for Canada on that power play. Ryan Suzuki kicks it back at center ice. Suzuki's older brother Nick played a couple years ago for Canada in the World Junior. Now Mercer gets loose. Dawson Mercer drops it back. In comes Drysdale, a shot that was blocked as Podkolzin got in the way. Zary got tied up there by Podkolzin. And the Russians are changing as Podkolzin drops it back. Here's Nadinov to Kuznetsov. And Kuznetsov plays it across. Lead pass to Chinnikov. In stride, works it and shoots, and Levi makes the glove save on him.
That's a nifty little glove save for Devin Levi as Russia breaks out quickly. And Chinnikov, the Columbus first rounder, has lots of room down the wing. A really skilled player quickly into the zone, and he's trying to go up under the bar, and well played in goal by Levi to make the glove stop, his 10th of the first period.
Spiridonov wins the draw back. Chico long shot through the traffic. Levi saved. Loose puck to the side of the goal. And Gritsuk couldn't reach it. And time expires here at the end of a scoreless first period as Canada and Russia tune up for the start of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship in 2 days' time here in Edmonton. Our first intermission is coming up.
Character, integrity, respect. If we bring good sportsmanship on and off the ice, we can help end bullying.
The goal of the Hockey Canada Foundation is to help young Canadians experience the power of play. The Assist Fund makes that happen by offering up to $500 in registration subsidies for players and their families. Learn more at hockeycanada.ca. For first intermission inside the Edmonton bubble with Laura and Craig. And, you know, all this excitement and the players finally getting a chance to hit the ice and see some action for many of them for the first time since mid-March. And, you know, we didn't get any scoring in that first period, but kind of the feeling out, these teams, and you likened it to a chess match.
Yeah, but when they did get some chances, it was a result of some really good, purposeful, smart work. I mean, Jacob Pelletier, I mean, he's on this puck, and as the defenseman Knyzev's trying to move out of the zone, Pelletier says no, and he brings it right to the front of the net, and Askarov has to make a good save. Then Cole Perfetti trying to open up the goaltender, but streaking through the middle. Connor Zary, again, brings it right to the front of the net. That's what you got to do to score. And then Connor McMichael with two really good chances here. A little deflection, and he wants to see if he can sneak it by Askarov on that short side. Askarov shut it down, but those are some really good scoring chances emanating from some really good purposeful play.
I mean, you've got 20 first-rounders on this team. They are going to get their chances. And, you know, we heard Ray and Gore talking about it, how it's different when they're playing against each other, how everything kind of gets elevated a little bit when you're finally playing against another team. You want to get the kinks out. A couple penalties that they took there in that first period, but the penalty kill did their job.
Well, right off the bat, Canada ends up taking a penalty, and now they got to kill a penalty. But the coaching staff wants pressure. They want them to be aggressive on the puck and not allowing any type of free passage into your zone. They want support and be aggressive. Up ice, neutral zone, blue line, supported everywhere, and they got right into that right off the bat. You know, if you think about the power play early in the game, it might be better to get your legs and your energy going on a penalty kill. Canada did an exemplary job on the penalty kill. Connor Zary down low after pressure up top by Justin Barron, and the puck's right out of the zone. So a penalty where Russia could not take advantage of it on their power play.
I mentioned 20 first-rounders on this roster for Canada. One of them, Dylan Holloway, who will get used to playing in this building. He was the Oilers' first-round pick, and here he is with Ryan Rishaug.
You had to wait a long time for this moment, actually an opportunity to play against another team. How did it feel out there? What do you think went well for your group in that first period?
Yeah, I thought it went good. I think we're a little shaky at the start. I know I took a penalty early, which I shouldn't probably have, but I think it was good. I think it was good energy. I think the boys are buzzing right away. Like you said, we haven't played in a while, so first game against a legit team is pretty cool, and I guess we're just super amped up for it.
You're an Edmonton Oilers first-round draft pick. Your first shift in this building, you take a penalty.
Yeah.
The first of hopefully many shifts for you in this building. What do you think that this tournament has the opportunity to do for you, just to try and push you forward to that next level?
Yeah, I think it's tremendous. It's a great opportunity. There's the best players in the world are playing here in this tournament, so to try and play up against them and try and do very well is going to be a challenge, but it's going to be something that will be a good opportunity for me.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, when we come back, we'll check in on James Duthie and Bob McKenzie. They're still in quarantine, and they'll join us next right here on TSN.
Greg Westlake supports the Hockey Canada Foundation Assist Fund because he knows when we help kids get on the ice, there's no limit to the power of play. Give an assist. Donate now.
So quarantine is obviously over for us, not so much over for James Duthie and Bob McKenzie, but they are working hard, they're doing their homework, they're getting ready for Christmas Day, and I must say, gentlemen, thank you for dressing up. I wasn't sure if we were going to get bathrobes or what exactly, so it's a sweater Wednesday, apparently.
I had the suit ready, Laura, and Bob said that looked cheesy from quarantine in a hotel room. So whatever Bob says goes as far as dress code and pretty much everything else we do here on TSN. Bob's actually probably 30 feet away from me, about 3 doors down. But because of our quarantine rules, we can't leave the room. I haven't seen him in 4 days. Hopefully sometime tomorrow when we get out for our preview show. But Mr. McKenzie, Canada was supposed to play, if you don't count the inter-squad games, 8 total pre-tournament games. Instead, it's just this one against the Russians. What, if any, impact will that have on Canada's performance in the tournament, do you think?
Well, it's really kind of a huge X factor. And when you look at, I mean, the Russians have been playing in the KHL, the Swedes have been playing, the Finns have been playing, the Americans not as much, in Canada, but very little. Only 5 players on Team Canada have been playing any games over the course of this season, and it's a limited number for most of them. I know Ray doesn't think it's going to be a big factor, that Canada and the U.S. to a large degree have played much less hockey than some of the European countries. I just wonder a little bit about muscle memory. That is, especially muscle memory on the mind. you haven't had to deal with any adversity. You haven't had yourself in a tough situation for so long. And maybe at some point, do you not respond as quickly or as reactively as you normally would simply because you're out of practice? It's something to keep an eye on over the course of the tournament.
Talent can carry you a long way, and Laura was talking about the 20 first-round picks, but is there one thing in particular that really signifies just how deep and how talent-filled this roster is?
Yeah, the healthy scratch for the forwards today was Phil Tomasino, the Nashville Predators' first-round pick, who had 100 points in 62 games last year between the Niagara Ice Dogs and the Oshawa Generals. I watched a lot of Ontario Hockey League play last season, and I got to tell you, Phil Tomasino was one of the most dynamic and dominant players night in, night out for the Ice Dogs and the Generals. And the fact that he's the 14th forward on this team, and to go a step further, we saw Quinton Byfield in the first period. My goodness, he's flying out there. He looks terrific. He's the youngest player on the team, but he's the fourth line center if you're into numbering lines, which might be a bit of a mug's game with this team, but nevertheless, Byfield is a fourth line center and Phil Tomasino as the healthy scratch number 14 forward. Absolutely incredible. It's a stacked lineup.
Laura, if all goes well, we'll be out of here and at the rink tomorrow for the World Junior Preview Show, but since hopefully I never get to say this again in my lifetime, that's it, live from my hotel room.
With a chandelier, we have to point out he has a chandelier in his hotel room. The tournament kicks off officially on Christmas Day for Canada. It's Boxing Day when they take on Germany. Well, we are still waiting for a goal here in this warm-up game between Russia and Canada. The second period is coming up.
Back here in Edmonton, no scoring in the opening period. Shots on goal 11-9 in favor of Russia. Remember, back here with Ray Ferraro, hard to believe that Russia has won one gold medal in the last 17 years at the World Junior, but in a lot of cases, they haven't had great net money.
No, they piecemealed it together. I mean, back to when Vasilevsky was playing goal, he got pulled in the semifinal game and replaced by Makarov in goal. They've never had a standalone goalie, it seems. And it seems like they should have. Well, they've got one here. Yaroslav Askarov is a terrific prospect, the 11th overall pick by Nashville in last year's draft. Last year he looked nervous. He looked over his head. Watch now. So square, so patient, so calm. That's a year of growth, confidence growing, and on the heels of an excellent start in the KHL this year. That's a great first period for Askarov and the Russians in a 0-0 tie. Canada maybe the best chance where Jacob Pelche hit the crossbar in that 0-0 first period.
And should clarify something we talked about in the first period. We talk about the jump from an 18-year-old year to a 19-year-old year. He was 17 last year in the tournament. He's 18. He's had so much success, as Craig Button has talked about, leading up to this. In 2019, he was their goaltender at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup of the Czech Republic. He's won almost everywhere he's been.
It's important to note, though, development doesn't go in a straight line. Sometimes it's got a wobbly arc to it. You get some good times, and then you have to go through some bad times to go forward again. And it looks like physically, athletically, he's got just about everything going for him. The goalie body at 6'4" and just under 180 pounds. It looks like he's settling into being more of a positional goaltender to complement that athleticism, and no question who Russia's #1 is.
Off the face-off, here's Braden Schneider with it. A crisp pass ahead to Perfetti. He finds Krebs, and Askarov knocks that away. You saw in that video pack, Ray, the puck handling by Askarov you talked about.
Really confident with it.
Perfetti drops it back to Krebs. Centering pass for McMichael, and Askarov makes the stop on that.
That's really nice work here as Connor McMichael calls this line Canada's third line. It's a pretty good line. I mean, McMichael had 102 points last year. Perfetti had 66 points in 32 games after being cut last year from Team Canada. And Krebs is over 80 points in in Winnipeg in the Western Hockey League. That's going to be a good line for Canada too. I guess we could probably say that about them all. This is a pretty loaded team.
Third line's got 3 first-round picks on it. So is the fourth line. So is the first line.
I think the real story is to find a line that doesn't.
Yeah. Depending how it shakes out in the tournament, it looks like all 4 lines for Canada will have first-round picks on them. There are 20 in total, so. In the corner, Afanasiev with it. Gets tied up there by Byfield. And then Schneider with a big hit behind the play as he bumped into Spiridonov. Russia opens on Christmas Day against the United States. Can't wait for that. That's the nightcap on Friday. As Byfield picks it up, puts it high in the air, back down to the Russian zone. And that'll be icing called against Canada. And the Canadians will open on Saturday against Germany.
Second year in a row, Byfield is the youngest player on the Canadian roster. There's much more expected of him, and there's a lot of pressure on him. He wants to be better. Now, he doesn't want to sit and watch people play. He started slowly at camp, and I think a lot of that, Gord, has to do, you got a great big kid who worked out a lot, added 10 or 12 pounds, and you've got to get used to playing with that extra weight. You're not just going to feel comfortable with it, but he's a terrific talent. The Kings drafted him at number 2. And he looks to have more of an impact this year than last.
Kravtsov. Off the hit for Ponomaryov. That's knocked away. Now moved up by Bichkov. Pass back across for Ponomaryov. Got to be good in Russia if you're going to wear 13. Ponomaryov is.
Pavel Datsuk's still going.
Amazing. Still picking people's pockets.
Yeah.
Shishchikov lost the handle. And that puck just out of the reach of Justin Barron. He moved up for Canada. And Newhook slides it back to Byram. Across to Barron.
That could be a Colorado defense pair one day.
Yes. They've got a few young D in Colorado, don't they?
Wow, if they started to stockpile talent.
Mahamadullah spins it back across. Quick move there by Chichikov. Long lead pass ahead for Lusnadinov. Skipped away from him. Russians are changing. His cousin pokes it ahead for Doc. Kirby Doc got tied up there by Safonov. Now moves to the center for Quinn. Jack Quinn works it free for Cousins, just out of his reach. That was knocked away by Chayka. Here's Daniel Chayka back with it. Rink wide he goes for Safonov. Crisp pass ahead. Gritsek works in and gets taken down in front. And the puck rolls wide. Cousins back with it. Back across to Drysdale. Amy Drysdale ahead for Byram. Owen Byram, great pass ahead for Doc. Kirby Doc moves in. And Askarov makes the stop.
In the first period, Jacob Pelche hit the goalpost. The Russians hit the goalpost here. After a nice initial stop by Levi, really sharp pass through the neutral zone by Safonov as he springs Gritsek up the ice. The rebound is shot off the goalpost as Levi's got to deal with the sliding Gritsek, and there's the rebound. Levi's deep back in the net. And that puck is swung off the post by Chinahoff. But that was a really crisp breakout pass, and Byram got caught standing still and had to try and react.
Here's Kirsanov with it. But tied up there. Now Krebs has got a little backhand shot. That was blocked by Kanayazev. Now McMichael centers it. McMichael gets it back. His shot goes off the foot of Amirov. Hayden Krebs back with it. Pivots back in the corner. His centering pass skipped away. Kept alive by Spence. The back pass by Krebs is picked off. And Abramov brings it out. That was knocked away by Korzak. Jordan Spence winds in. Feeds across to McMichael. Long shot. Gloved by Askarov. And he'll hang on.
For 4 years, teams have done amazing things to raise the Chevrolet Good Deeds Cup. But this year, ideas triumph. What would you do with $100,000 for your community?
Just after 5 p.m. local time, still to come tonight in this arena. The final warm-up game has the Czechs and the Slovaks facing off. Only 2 teams don't get warm-up games. Sweden and Germany are coming out of quarantine today. But only 1 pre-tournament game for the other 8 teams. Bartikov plays it around. Byfield with the steal, plays it back in deep. Byfield ran over Ponomaryov.
Byfield's had a much more physical approach to the game than we saw at any point last year. I like it. He's looked good.
Nifty move with the line by Braden Schneider. In comes Schneider, walks right in, shoots a Askarov save, rebound, and Zary couldn't reach it. Now the lead pass goes the other way to Grosjean. In comes Maxim Grosjean streaking in. Couldn't get a shot away. Grosjean back with it. Drops it back. Ponomaryov a shot. That's knocked away by Levi. Kusnedinov swings that back across for Mohamedulin, who jumps in. His long shot goes high and wide. And Chichikov has that bounce away. But Colson swings that back for Mohamedulin. Turn the puck over to Newhook. In comes Newhook, who's bumped down by Chichikov. Pelche comes in to help out. Drops it back for Holloway. Now Pelche trying to dig it free. And Mohamedulin settles things down for the Russians. Leaves it there for Puck Colson. Caden Goulet on the forecheck for Canada. Knocked that free. Puck Colson. And the other wall sealed this time by Barron. Mohamedulin swings back now for Russia.
It's about 3 or 4 times Canada's done this to the Russians, bottled them up in their zone, and there's no real clean exit out of the zone for them.
Quick free by Doc. Nifty move by Kirby Doc at the line. In he comes as Canada changes. And Doc runs into Mohamedulin there. Now the puck stolen by Quinn. Jack Quinn got it back up. Shoots, it's off a stick and wide as Chichikov got a stick on that. Here's Doc back with it. For Quinn, that pass was picked off by Amirov. Now loose, chance in front for Quinn. He tapped that wide. Back is Doc, centers it for Byram. That was knocked away from him. Here's Bowen Byram back with it. Crisscrossing with Doc. Byram swings through the offensive zone. Bowen Byram with a head of steam. That's 2 laps. Now a long wrist shot. Askarov punches that away. A long shot this time by Drysdale goes wide. And now Byram there on the forecheck for Canada. Drysdale knocks it free. There's Doc on the other side, still out there for Canada. And Mohamedulin waits for his line, makes a change, and Canada will make a change as well. 12 to go here in a scoreless second period. Spence goes back, being shadowed there by Safonov. Krebs up ahead for Korzak. He finds Quinn at the end of a long shift. He flips it in. And the puck banked by Perfetti back down the ice. That'll go right on the Canadian goal. So icing's waved off. And Levi up quickly to play it for Perfetti. Canada breaks in 4 wide. Cole Perfetti drops. Krebs in. Shoots. He fanned his shot. Rebound loose in front. Spence couldn't find it. Almost an off-speed shot there.
Didn't quite get to the net and gave all kinds of trouble in front of the Russian goal.
Abramov flips that ahead for Bashkirov. And Bashkirov works it free behind the goal, being watched by McMichael. Afanasiev plays that back. A long shot taken there by Kirsanov. Stopped by Levi. Canada clears the rebound. As Kirsanov goes back, icing waved off. Kirill Kirsanov jumps in across the line. He's poke checked there. As Harley going to stick on him, and now Thomas Harley back with it. Last year, 18 goals as a defenseman for Thomas Harley in Mississauga. As Byfield brings it up. In comes Byfield with it. Lays it down for Suzuki, trying to find Mercer. And Suzuki, another steal, centers it. The puck just missed Byfield. Now Harley jumps in. Looks down to Byfield. He's taken down behind the net. That'll be a penalty to Shahovsov. As Levi goes to the bench for the extra attacker, that pass missed, and look out, hustling back. And Schneider watches that go just wide. We've seen that happen. Yuri Hudler dropped a pass back, went into his own net against Ottawa. And Chris Kelly got credit for that goal.
And he was sitting beside me when it went in.
Harley, a long shot. That's blocked. Another chance. McMichael turned away, and finally the Russians touch up. And after some adventures at both ends, a power play coming to Canada.
Byfield's going to get shoved from behind here. The Russians shorthanded as Shahovsov, who gets the cross-checking penalty. Canada will go back to the power play, and it's these sort of setups where you can see the raggedness of the play, where we just haven't had enough reps.
Canada's 0 for 2 with no shot so far in the man advantage. Here's McMichael to the goal mouth for Doc. Krebs is standing in front for a moment. Now Cousins down to Doc. Between the legs he goes. The pass bounced away. Byram walks in. Owen Byram centering pass. Krebs turned away point blank by Askarov.
That's a really nice play as Byram went down into the zone and opened up the passing lane to Krebs, and Askarov a pretty nifty save.
He faced Canada in the gold medal game of the 2019 Hlinka Gretzky Cup of the Czech Republic. He stopped 35 of 37 shots. He was brilliant as Russia won the gold medal. Byram holds the line. Feeds it across to McMichael. To Krebs. Back to Byram. Byram a long shot, and through the traffic, Askarov makes the save. He lost the rebound. McMichael holds the line for Canada. Rink wide for Cousins. Cousins back for Byram. Cross he goes to McMichael. Doc. Rings it around for Cousins. Byram. Back for Cousins. In shoots, Askarov save. Rebound for Doc. A backhand shot. Couldn't quite reach it. Now the Russians clear it down.
A good set. Pucks to the net and traffic in front. It's an age-old proposition, but Doc gets to the front of the net for 2 chances. Krebs had one earlier. It's a good first minute for Canada.
Harley drops it back for Byfield. In comes Quinton Byfield. Back around for Perfetti. A centering pass is knocked down. And brought back the other way. And Ayazev feeds that back for Kirsanov. Fed back down to the Canadian zone. Levi leaves it there for Harley. Newhook works it across to Byfield. 3 shots for Canada. That power play, still no score. 7:45 to go in the second period. Harley, lead pass out of the reach of Newhook. Now Quinn back on it. Suzuki flips it down. And Shishahov is back to pick it up. He pivots there with Suzuki watching him closely. And now Drysdale back with it. Shishakov has to range back as Peltier launched himself into him. Schneider runs into Amirov. Podkolzin got knocked off stride. And now Amirov picks it up in the corner. Rodion Amirov. Drops it down to Podkolzin. For Schneider. And now picked up by Holloway. Laid back in by Suzuki. Holloway on the forecheck. Askarov about to play it. And up the center ice it goes. Knocked down by Barron for Byfield. Byfield had that kicked away. Holloway back down to the Russian zone. 6.5 to go here in the second. Byfield, the forecheck, forces it free. A chance for Connor Zary rolled that just wide. Dooley steps up to Zary. The centering pass is knocked down and moved ahead by Chayka. Daniel Chayka's lead pass just out of reach of Chinaha. Now Chinaha on the forecheck. Chinaha walks out of the corner, shoots. Levi save, rebound, and Gritsa couldn't quite reach it. Here's Byfield back with it. Now Barron high in the air, chance for Zary. Bouncing puck for Connor Zary. He chops it down, but couldn't get in behind the Russian defense. Now a centering pass worked in for Cousins with a chance. Askarov makes the point-blank save. Another chance for Mercer. He's turned away. And Askarov once again holds his ground. No score here late in the second period.
Really good chance for Dylan Cousins. It starts with some really good work by Connor Zary, who gets to the puck, and he sees Cousins coming right about here, and he lays across a beautiful backhander. Cousins wants to go up top, just lofts it over top of the net.
Quinn plays that down to Cousins. Now bank back down to the Canadian zone as Drysdale goes back to pick it up, being shadowed there by Grosjean. Byram. Lead pass for Doc, and away comes Kirby Doc. Slides it across. In comes Quinn with a chance. Askarov the save. Drysdale back with it. Drysdale feeds across to Cousins. Drops it back to Byram. Byram, a sharp angle shot. Doc couldn't put a stick on that. Now Drysdale back with it. Back to Byram. The puck rolls off his stick. Back out to center ice. Now Byram flips it back in. Goes after his own shoot-in. Askarov squeezes that by him. Cousins. Down to Doc. Feeds it back to Cousins across. He goes. Harley, a hard drive. He ripped that wide. Doc. Centering pass was knocked down by Ponomaryov. Takes the return pass in front of Schneider. Ponomaryov works in. Throws it back in front. Picked up by Perfetti. Now Perfetti's off the other way, along with Krebs and Schneider jumping in. Perfetti lays it down low. McMichael trying to find it, out of the reach of Krebs as well. And here's Harley back with it. Askarov. Pass ahead goes just wide. McMichael sweeping at it. Now McMichael back there. Tips it for Krebs. Connor McMichael. Up ahead for Krebs, but the play's offside at the Russian line. 3:50 to go in a scoreless second period.
Closed captioning of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship is brought to you in part by Yamaha. Revs your heart.
Back here in Edmonton on December 23rd. Tomorrow night, the directorate will meet. The teams will finalize their rosters. As we mentioned, each team will have 22 skaters and 3 goaltenders in this year's event. No one can be added. Once you're in the bubble, you're in. Mohamedoulan back for it. McMichael bumps into him. Perfetti. Lost the handle as Podkolzin picks it up.
Pretty quiet so far for Podkolzin.
Here he comes. Works in a backhand shot. Stuffed in tight by Levi.
That was a strong rush. He uses his size to get out wide, protects the puck for a good chance.
Right on cue. Here he comes again. Podkolzin being watched by Gulick. And Mohamedoulan has that squeezed by him. Oh, Mohamedoulan, great pass ahead. Then comes Gritzik with a chance. He put it wide.
What a pass from Mohamedoulan. That looks like it appears to be the strength of Russia, at least on tonight, is that long lead pass, the one-on-one skill. You can be fearful of that if you're an opponent, but you can see where they can get rattled, and that's back in their zone.
Igor Larionov has talked about creativity, bringing puck possession back to Russian hockey. You have the players watching videos of the old green unit, which included the KLM line that Igor Larionov centered, the Russian 5 and others. In comes Newhook with it now. Drops it back for Holloway. That's broken up. As Bashkirov brings it the other way. Rink wide pass for Afanasiev. Holloway couldn't clear it out. Now back at the point of Bravo, a long shot, and Levi makes the save through the traffic.
Shakir Muhammadulin is a first-round pick in New Jersey. He's got his head up, and he sees this lane crisply into Gritchuk, who goes to the forehand and ends up missing the net on Devin Levi. Igor wants the puck on the net. You know, you mentioned the Russian five and back to the way they played. It was so foreign to us to play against that style. And they'd get the puck and they'd frustrate the heck out of you because you'd be running all over the place trying to get it back. The rinks were big, of course, over in Europe, and they'd hold it and regroup and so patient.
And Igor Larionov talked about playing for Detroit under Scotty Bowman. Said it was like having a front row seat at a college course. And he's also a big soccer fan. Visited Liverpool last year and is a big subscriber to the beliefs of Jurgen Klopp, the flamboyant and innovative manager at Liverpool, who talks about the joy of the game and creativity and letting players show their personality within the structure. And that's been a big message from Larionov to his players this year.
And it's quite a change for almost any player, it would be, is you're constantly drilled about in the system and play the way everybody else plays. And there is some of that. I mean, you can't run around and do whatever you want out here, but he wants to open it up a little bit, and said it's been a little bit of a challenge with some of the players to get them to take their own handcuffs off.
Mercer knocked down Bardakov. And away comes Suzuki with it, crisscrossing with Mercer. Ryan Suzuki flips that wide. One of the issues for the Russians, Ray, is that a lot of these players play in the KHL on third and fourth lines. They're told to dump it in.
And they don't get a lot of minutes while they're at it.
Right.
What a breath of fresh air this would be. No, don't dump it in. Hold it. Oh, that would have been nice.
Doc, a long shot. Maskarov got an arm on that. Knocked down by Gouli, the Montreal Canadiens' first-round pick.
Gord, this is where Russia has had trouble with Canada, down here below the tops of the circles.
Ponomaryov up for Groshev. That was knocked down, and Groshev now taps it back as both teams change. 25 seconds to go in the second period. Chistyakov up ahead for Kuzmadinov. Was poked away by Barron, and Cousins plays it back to him. Justin Barron, long lead pass for Doc, was off his stick over the glass and out of play with 6.5 seconds to go in the period.
Kirby Dach has had a really good second period, as has Canada, really. 13 shots so far in the period. I've liked the way that they've played. You can see they're still banging the rust off a little bit, maybe not as smooth in the transition game as they'd like to be, but it's been a really good warm-up test game for them here.
And the centering pass just missed, and these teams will go back to the dressing room still without a goal. 22-17 now, the shots on goal in favor of Canada after 2 periods of play. You're watching the World Junior warm-up, pre-tournament action for the 2021 World Junior, which starts on Friday. Our second intermission is coming up.
Sophomore Slump, the new album from the Reclaws, available now. And Roots, the World Junior song, available everywhere you listen to music.
For more than 80 years, Esso has supported Canadian hockey with programs like the Esso Medals of Achievement, Esso Fun Days, and the Esso Cup through our long-standing partnership with Canada's national teams. Esso, proud premier partner of Hockey Canada.
NFL Week 16 gets underway Christmas Day. Happy ho-ho with a matchup between the Vikings and the Saints. Coverage begins at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on TSN and CTV2, Canada's home for the NFL. Zeros on the board still here between Russia and Canada in this warm-up game before the tournament gets underway on Christmas Day. Craig and Laura back with you once again, and Devin Levi, we said, getting the nod here. And how do you assess this game so far, Craig?
I think exactly what I would expect. Steady, calm, composed, settled in the net. I mean, as a goaltender, I mean, when the puck comes below the goal line and you're on the penalty kill, I mean, this is a really good play here by Devin Levi. Just control, bumps it over to Bowen Byram, and out it goes. Here he is. He's following. Watch his head. He's looking for the puck, comes to a screen. When you track the puck, you're going to be able to find it and get yourself into position. Here he is on a drive to the net, knocks it down. Out at the top of the crease. There's not really anywhere for Chinnikov to go with that shot, and he knocks it away. And again, fighting through to get your position. Now here's Chinnikov, who's an excellent goal scorer, and he changes the angle on Devin Levi, but Devin Levi's following it perfectly. He doesn't compromise his position. So what you're looking for is that nice, settled, composed play. Devin Levi through two periods has been outstanding.
Yaroslav Askarov up to the challenge as well, looking like a totally different goaltender than we saw at last World Juniors. Speaking of which, 6 returning players for Canada from last World Juniors to this one here in the Edmonton bubble. And here's one of them, Quinton Byfield with Ryan Rashog.
Quinton, you know that this goaltender has the ability to steal a game. Have you been happy with the quality of chances you've been getting on him, or what do you think you have to do?
Yeah, no, I think we've been getting quite a bit of shots for it, but I think we need a little bit more traffic and, keep working on our game. Work it down low, tire them out, and hopefully open the slot and get some shots from there.
Seemed from your first shift you wanted to make a bit of a statement as we'll take a look at some of your physical play here. A couple of hits on your first shift, grinding it out a little bit. Do you think this is something that can help you separate yourself a bit, your ability to do this with your size?
Yeah, no, I think so. I think, over the summer, that was one of my focuses that I wanted to work on, getting a little more physical and using my size to separate, the players from the puck. And, I think I've been trying to contribute that out there, and I think it's working.
Thanks, Quinton.
All right, thank you.
So, Craig, we've given some love to the goaltenders, we've given some love to the forwards. I feel like there's a major and a very important position that we haven't touched on yet.
Oh, yeah, that blue line, and we've talked about Jamie Drysdale and Bowen Byram. Well, Bowen Byram, I mean, when he's out on the ice, he's always looking to make a difference. He's confident with the puck. He's not going to just give it up freely. Always thinking, always probing, always looking for where there might be a crack in the defense and trying to find those cracks and take advantage of them. Good offensive defensemen have to be able to make plays in tight. This is an example of Bowen Byram, a great scoring chance, under sticks, through skates, great scoring chance. Bowen Byram just wants to take control of the game. You saw some examples of that in that second period.
And Ray and Gore touched on it as well. As the game has gone on, both teams looking more comfortable, shaking off a little bit of the rust, and we're in store for an excellent third period where hopefully we will get a goal, because we still don't have one just yet. The Edmonton bubble, home to the World Juniors, and this warm-up game between Canada and Russia.
Premier partner of Hockey Canada, Tim Hortons has supported minor hockey for over 35 years through the Timbits Hockey Program and its commitment to developing teamwork, confidence, and social skills in an inclusive environment. Timbits Hockey, where the first goal is having fun.
After this one between Canada and Russia, one more warm-up game to go at these World Juniors. Comes between the Czech Republic and Slovakia. And we've got it for you right here on TSN starting at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. So now that the warm-up games are almost over, it's time to start to look ahead to the actual tournament for Canada. Of course, that gets underway on Boxing Day. And when it comes to their group, the defending champs in Group A get to avoid the likes of the U.S., Sweden, and Russia. And their first real test, Craig, actually comes on New Year's Eve, their final round-robin game.
Yeah, against Finland. And I expect Canada and Finland to both be 3-0 heading into that New Year's Eve game, which will be for first place in the group and set you up to play the fourth place team on the other side. And when you finish fourth place, that means you haven't played very well.
Right?
So that's an advantage for you. But Canada is not going to be tested to any great extent against Slovakia, Switzerland, or Germany. And what you're trying to do is get your team prepared. I expect Andre Tourigny and the head coaches to be more like on the details at every turn to those 3 games, because you don't want anything to slip as you move into that New Year's Eve game and you're getting yourself prepared for the quarterfinal.
And I've got your favorite stat. Ready? Canada is 50-0-1 against Switzerland, Slovakia, and Germany.
And
I know
by
it's your
New
favorite.
Year's Eve, they will be 53-0-1.
I knew you were going to go there. Another one of the major storylines, of course, comes in the crease. We see that Devin Levi getting the start here this evening, but we learned last year, most recently, that the goaltender you start the tournament with isn't necessarily the one you end the tournament with.
Well, you have to be open-minded. You have to be able to evaluate over the course of the tournament. And that's exactly what Jason LaBarbera and the rest of the staff will do with the goaltenders. And so for Devin Levi or for whoever gets into the net, you know, continue to show that you're the guy that can give the team exactly what they need. I've said this before. They don't have to stand on their head to give this team a chance to win the gold medal. Just do what you got to do. Bill Belichick famously always says, do your job.
Well, I thought we were going to say on to Cincinnati. Very quickly before we get to break here, a key player that you think could have an impact here for Canada.
Well, it's the same player that I thought was really key for them last year, and that's Connor McMichael. Connor McMichael can play anywhere in your lineup. He can play center, he can play the wing. You put him with anybody, and he's going to be highly effective. And we saw that last year. I expect him to do exactly the same things this year as they try to compete for the gold.
Got a lot of choices. Got a lot of choices to pick from.
But I only picked one.
I know you did. I know you did. Zeros on the board still here in the Edmonton bubble between Canada and Russia. We've got the third period next on TSN.
No score after 2 periods of play. The shots favor Canada 22-17 after a 13-6 advantage in the second period. We'll get a new goaltender for the Russians to start the third period. Gordon Miller back here with Ray Ferraro. Kirby Dach, of course, was in the National Hockey League last year, not available to Team Canada. Back this year as the captain and making an impression.
I think the things that we saw from Dach in the training camp have been pretty evident here tonight. He's big and strong. He uses his reach. He's really patient with the puck. Here's one of his 6 entries into the offensive zone. He leads all players with 6 entries, 6 exits, controlled exits out of the zone. He leads all players with over 50 seconds, 55 seconds in the offensive zone. I've liked when he's got the puck in the zone, as you see him working around the front of the net on the power play, how he uses his body to defend the puck, to keep people off his back shoulder. He and Dylan Cousins have been the 2 of the most effective Canadian forwards at holding the puck in the Russian zone, where Russia has shown to have a little bit of problem organizing themselves and getting out of the zone quickly.
So Artur Akhямov comes in, 19-year-old, who was a 4th-round pick of Toronto in 2020. So Russia has the KHL, their top pro league. They have the VHL, would like to be the American League, and the MHL, which is their junior league. He's played in all 3 this year.
14 games spread across those 3 leagues.
Here's for Kazan, their group. Chinikov, that's time to come across the line, and Kirby Dach's stick went helicoptering about 60 feet. Byram gathers up the loose puck for Drysdale. Jamie Drysdale gave it away to Chinikov. Chinikov throws it back in the corner. Spiridonov now in a battle there with Drysdale. Away comes Quinn with it now. He's poke checking the line by Kirsanov. Now Quinn throws it in for Cousins. Cousins peels back, gets some help from Quinn. Dach in the high slot, had that taken away as Bud Colson stepped in front of him. And now play is called along the boards as the puck is under Jack Quinn, and a penalty coming out, a hooking call.
Nobody seems real sure who's going
against Quinn.
Jack Quinn.
29 Canada, minor penalty, hooking.
There's the hook right there as he got his stick on the inside of Afanaseyev's stick. Here's the hit earlier. Dach takes the contact, and his stick ended up going the entire length of the neutral zone. He had to go retrieve it.
So Russia back to the power play. 0 for 2 tonight with no shots so far. Russia beat Canada in the preliminary round last year, 6-0. And lost the gold medal game 4-3. They led that game 3-2 with 9 minutes left. Then came the tying goal by Barrett Hayton, who was doubtfully going to play in that game after injuring his shoulder earlier in the tournament.
Yeah, in the 6-0 loss. That 6-0 loss was one of Canada's worst.
In comes Amirov now with a shot that goes wide. Chinahov. Back to Chichakov. Chichakov. Back at the point across, he goes to Amirov. Rodion Amirov. Goes it back to Chichakov. Being watched here by Pelche. Now a centering pass just missed Amirov and bounces back to center ice.
That was a slick pass from Podkolzin. He made it look like he was going to go up in the slot. But he went back across the seam and just missed Amirov, who was open on the far side.
Podkolzin throws it back to Chinakov. That's picked off and sent to center ice by Harlan. 40 seconds to go in the Russian power play. They play it back. Yakimov, who's playing internationally for Russia for the first time in this tournament. Afanasyev drops that back. And Chika with Spiridonov. Up ahead to Abramov. Got turned around the line, throws that rink wide, and goes high off the glass. Chika trying to hold the line and does. Now chopped ahead by Barron. Barron plays on the center ice. In comes Zeri with it, and Chika took it away from him. No shots for Russia on that power play either. Afanasyev back for Chika. That was blocked. Zeri got a leg on that as Krebs brings it back. Peyton Krebs peels back as Canada changes. Krebs throws it back at the point for Byram. Owen Byram winds his way in. Had McMichael standing in front. Byram was thumped down there by Afanasyev. McMichael throws it back in front. The pass just missed Perfetti. Perfetti's one of 7 Canadian players who was cut in last year's selection camp.
Now when he got cut, he went back to Saginaw and just went on a tear, 66 points in just 32 games.
Now Drysdale, long shot, scores! Jamie Drysdale goes shelf, and Canada gets the game's first goal.
Not a big wind-up from Drysdale. He snaps his shot over the goaltender's shoulder. They get the free entry in the zone as the Russians were changing. Drysdale, drafted 6 overall to Anaheim, takes this about a stride or two down the right wing, and he snaps this, a perfect shot, up over Akhtiamov's blocker side. A nice play entering the zone. They had room to set up, and Drysdale enough room to shoot the puck.
This is his first game since mid-March. One of the many Canadian players who hasn't played yet this year.
Just got a real subtle game, such a fantastic skater. I was so impressed last year, Gord, as he started as the extra defenseman, and it seemed like whatever Dale Hunter threw his way, they seemed to be able to handle it. And pretty soon he's playing a regular shift in the gold medal game.
Cousins drops it down. And of course, when Bowen Byram was sick in the semifinals, it was Drysdale who got the assignment for Canada to play in the top pair.
Did it like he'd been doing it the whole tournament.
Doc goes rink wide to Schneider. Shoots from a sharp angle. Rebound, Zeri battles for it. Now picked up by Doc.
Team Canada goal, scored by number 6, Jamie Drysdale. Assisted by number 11.
Drysdale from Perfetti and Byram who's scoring play at 3:52. Roshev brings it in. That's knocked away as Levi got in the way of that. And now Cousins banks it down. Kind of an awkward save there by Akhtiamov. Chichakov has that knocked away from him. Mohamedulin goes back and got bumped hard there by Holloway. Mohamedulin spins away from Newhook, and this line goes back to work. Pelche is centering pass. Holloway drops it back to Pelche. Feeds it back. Here's Spencer with sharp angle. Feeds it back in front. Just missed Newhook with it. now Podkolzin comes back the other way. Tried to go between his legs there. Caden Korczak had none of that. As Newhook goes rink wide to Pelche. Jacob Pelche drops it off to Spence. Jordan Spence peels back in the corner, drops that down to Holloway. And Kuznetsov plays it around. Korczak throws it right back in. That's kicked away by Chayka. Husnutdinov spins it back now for the Russians. There's Chayka with it. His partner Kuznetsov with it. Kuznetsov moved to North America at the age of 16, is now a freshman at the University of Connecticut studying business management.
Amazing.
Now a centering pass just missed. Gritsya.
Just think at 16 years old, coming to a new country, learning the language, going to school, trying to learn the hockey over here as well.
Gritsya fan on that shot.
Calgary really likes him, and Igor Larionov spoke very highly of Kuznetsov as well.
And he's a giant.
That never hurts.
Krisanov works in with it. Krisanov feeds it back across, and that long shot taken by Chinahoff is gloved by Levi. 1-0 Canada leads on the goal by Jamie Drysdale.
Jamie Drysdale has a hand at the start of the play and then finishes it off. Coming out of the zone, he yells to Bowen Byram. They're changing, quick up the puck. Byron quicks it up to Perfetti, a terrific passer. Perfetti pulls the player to him. That opens up some room for Drysdale to swing back around, and his shot beats Akhtiamov up over the blocker. Heady play by Drysdale at the start, and a nice up from Byram to Perfetti, and just enough room for Canada to take a 1-0 lead.
Battle on the boards, Bashkirov lays it back down to Afanasiev. Poked free by Harley, and now Perfetti on it. And Thomas Harley back with it. Not Harley Thomas, as he was introduced at the draft by Dallas owner Tom Ghilardi, who's taking a lot of good-natured ribbing about that.
Remember, Bobby Clark couldn't remember Claude Giroux's name.
It's a good sign.
It's a good sign. Kid's off to a good start.
Afanasiev a long shot, and that's gloved by Levi.
Hasn't been a real busy game for Levi.
There is, by the way, Evgeny Kuznetsov. He's actually a sophomore at UConn. Yan Kuznetsov is not Evgeny Kuznetsov, but Yan Kuznetsov is a sophomore at UConn. He went there as a 17-year-old freshman last year.
It's as you said earlier, just really impressive to think you can handle a college load of classes to get there. To you pursuing a hockey career is what he's at, and able to do both. It's really quite something.
I remember asking the Russian team manager, there was another Kuznetsov who played after Evgeny a couple of years ago. I said, is he related? He goes, no, in Russia, Kuznetsov is like Smith. Really?
Smith's easier to spell.
Big hit at center ice, and Kirby Dach was shaking up and is going to the Canadian bench.
He's going, oh no, he's going right down the tunnel.
Right down the dressing room as Akhtiamov makes that save. That's the last thing you want to see in a game like this.
Oh, man. It's such an innocent play. And when Dach goes to make the hit, his arm is down by his hip. And he's not able to extend to make the hit. Watch his right arm here. Almost immediately, he takes it out of the glove. Oh, man.
Here's Barron back at the point with it. Tees it up and shoots with a skate in front. And now Barron knocks it down. Amirov lost his stick as the puck goes into the Russian bench. Now, we talked about the fact that the rosters are declared tomorrow night, but because there's a bubble situation here, players cannot be added from outside the team. You may remember a dozen years ago or so, Dana Tyrell got hurt for Canada, and Evander Kane was added at the last minute. That can't happen this year.
He makes the hit, and he's got his stick out across the Russian player's waist, but there's nowhere for it to give when you have your hands like that. Can only hope it's a better result than what that looked like.
Kuznetsov banks it back to center. In comes Amirov with it. Long shot. Goes high and wide as he was knocked off stride by Pelchev. Caden Gooley up the center ice. Picked up there by Holloway. Going Holloway. And here's Amirov with it. Podkolzin has it stolen by Byfield. From Byfield, poke check there by Amirov. And Spence swings it ahead to Byfield. Byfield lost the handle, a chance there for Grosjev. He ripped that wide. And Kursanov brings it back across for Russia. The pass in behind Maxim Grosjev. Ponomaryov plays it back in deep. Levi back to pick it up. Lost the puck for a moment. Almost stolen there by Barnikov. Now Mohamedulin back with it. Mohamedulin back across for Chichikov. Safonov with it now. Centering pass for Gritsuk. Gritsuk shoots. That goes wide. And Levi gloves that and hangs on. 9:52 to go here in the third period. Canada leads 1-0.
Closed captioning of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship is brought to you in part by Bet99.net, Canada's newest destination for free sports information, odds, and casino. Every game starts at Bet99.
Back here in Edmonton. Another game played here tonight. Dennis Bayak and Craig Button will be here for Slovakia and the Czech Republic. The final warm-up game before the tournament begins on Christmas Day. Cole Perfetti back with it. And across he goes to Braden Schneider. Perfetti lays it back in. Mohamedulin back to pick it up. Played back ahead for Safonov. His drop pass was picked off, and away comes McMichael the other way with Krebs. Peyton Krebs walks right in, spins it across for Schneider. The pass was in behind him. Safonov almost sprung his man as Chinahov was busting the other way. There's Chinahov with it. Columbus first-round pick, 21st overall in 2020. Levi has icing waved off as he has to play that ahead. Spiridonov lays it down to Afanasyev. And on Mercer back the other way for Canada. Dawson Mercer.
So Mercer out in the spot where Kirby Doc would be.
So a returnee from last year plays it down to Quinn. And brought back in now by Bashkirov. A centering pass goes off a skating wide. Grosjev back to Kursanov. That shot ripped wide. Here's Bashkirov back with it. Afanasyev tied up by Quinn. Now behind the goal, a battle for it. Mercer works it free. And Quinn waits for it. Drysdale. Up ahead for Byram. Bowen Byram sends that down. And Kursanov back to pick it up. Kanayazev. To Husnudinov. Up for Podkolzin. And Gooley stays with him step for step and erases him from the rush.
A really good play by Gooley to take on the bigger Podkolzin. He's a pretty powerful kid. He was able to rub him out of the play.
Barron. Up ahead for Holloway. Holloway chips it in. And Mohamedulin plays it around for Podkolzin. Holloway. Lost the puck to Podkolzin. And Podkolzin flips that down. And a play called icing. And the puck, the faceoff, back down to the Russian zone.
Canada's done a nice job defending here, and when I watch them play, it seems like they're a little more aware of that long pass, how they want to defend it, how they want to keep their defense tight in the middle of the ice, force that puck out through the middle as the Russians continually send a player up through the middle. Russia really not had many great scoring chances.
Off the face-off, Chichikov plays it back around to Mohamedulin. Goes right back to the goaltender, and Akyamov had to play that away. Knocked down by Spence. Plays it back in deep for Zary. It bounced away from him, and Kusnedinov. Rink wide to Mohamedulin. I was waiting for that. That's a lot of vowels and consonants there. And Kusnedinov gets bumped in behind the play. Back with the point. Chichikov with a shot that goes way wide. Chayka. Back in the corner he goes, and Zary picks it up. Here's Zary. Chips it ahead. Here's Spence with it. Jordan Spence. Up for Ryan Suzuki. Ardakov was turned away at the Canadian line. And now Grosjean moves in as his teammates are changing. McMichael gathers up the rolling puck. Moves it back across to Harlan. Now a chance at the side of the goal. McMichael, a centering pass. That rolls just away from Krebs in front. And now Harley back with it. Down to Pelche. To Krebs. Hayden Krebs pivots back. McMichael lost the puck to Bardakov. A lead pass and a chance down for Chichikov. In shoots, and Levi makes the point-blank save. Igor Chinakhov with a great chance there. He's stopped. And back comes Perfetti. And Mohamedulin knocks that away from him.
Lightning quick. Chinakhov right in cold on Levi, who makes a really nice stop. Stands his ground, doesn't back in too much to make the save.
In comes Cousins with Mercer. And now trying to kill a shot. He ripped that wide. Afanasiev gathers things up for the Russians. Plays it across to Mohamedulin. Inside 5 to go here in the third period. Canada a 1-0 lead. Still to come tonight, the Czech Republic and Slovakia. That shot miscued by Chichikov as Byron brings it back the other way to Quinn. Byron. That's the puck to Afanasiev. And here's Mercer back with it. Into a Bay Roberts, Newfoundland. 30 years ago this year, another Newfoundlander, John Slaney, scored the gold medal winning goal for Canada against the Soviet Union in Saskatoon. That long shot tipped right on. And Akyamov makes the stop. Devin Levi at the other end turns away. Chinakhov keeps it a 1-0 lead. Canada's tournament begins on Boxing Day at 5:30 Eastern Time, 2:30 Pacific, as Canada takes on Germany in defense of its 2020 World Junior Championship here in Edmonton.
Tough couple of days for Germany. They finally get out of quarantine and they start against the Finns on Christmas, and then Canada sitting there on Boxing Day. Tim Stützle, the Ottawa first rounder, 3rd overall, is the headliner, of course, there.
The good news for teams like Germany, Austria, and others, no relegation this year. So they're back in the tournament here in Edmonton next year, no matter what. Barron, up ahead for Holloway. In comes Holloway, a shot that flutters on goal. Akyamov makes the stop. Connor Zary back on it. Saskatoon native, plays for Kamloops in the Western League. Now Grosjean drops it back. Volkaniazet. Loose in front for a moment. Is dropped back to Mohamedullah. Mohamedullah's shot goes off the stick of Byfield. That's knocked down. And Mohamedullah had to knock that away from an on-rushing Clinton Byfield. Podkolzin got bumped at center ice by Gulick. Now Suzuki up ahead for Byfield. Has a quick look. And Clinton Byfield moves ahead with Zary. Get back down to the Russian zone inside. 3 to go here in the third period. Ponomarev just missed there by Suzuki on the forecheck. Now Chichikov up ahead to Afanasyev, and the puck goes over the glass.
Yamaha revs your heart.
Andre Tourigny has adversity to deal with before the tournament begins. We don't know the official word on Kirby Dach. It certainly did not look good.
And so we've talked about the depth of Canada and where would it be helpful in a tournament. Well, unfortunately, we may find out early on here. Dach on that #1 line with Quinn and Cousins.
The groups are set up according to finish from the year before. So Canada faces Germany, Slovakia, Switzerland, and Finland on New Year's Eve. We saw the Finns last night against the United States.
The way these groups are set up, I anticipate that the Finns will win their 3 and Canada will win their 3 heading into that last game at 3-0 for the first seed.
Gritsuk has that go wide. But with the other side so stacked, finishing first doesn't guarantee you an easy quarterfinal game.
No, not at all.
That's Russia, the U.S., Czechs, Austria, and Sweden as Levi knocks that away.
And even with the struggle Sweden had to get to the tournament, health-wise, they're going to be a good team. Excellent defense, good goaltending, and a couple of game breakers in Lucas Raymond and Alexander Holtz.
Owen Byron tied up in the corner. Drysdale on it. He has the only goal in the game so far. As of right now, no motion from Larionov to pull the goaltender. As the puck squeezes by Afanasyev and back down to the Russian zone. Larionov has had a lot of conversations with his old mentor, Scotty Bowman, about tactics. Kursanov plays a rink wide to Podkolzin. In on Byron. Podkolzin gets around him. A backhand shot stopped by Levi. Akyamov remains in the Russian net. Here's Budinov. Plays it down for Afanasyev. Back for Kaniazet. Drops it back. Kursanov, a long shot. Levi saw that through the traffic and made the stop. Inside a minute to go now in the third period.
A wrestling match in front of the net with Byram and Podkolzin.
Gritsuk works in.
Doesn't look like Larionov's going to pull the goal in.
Oh, and Gritsuk with that shot. Stopped by Levi. And the faceoff will be in the Canadian zone, but as of right now, Akyamov remains in the Russian net. And here is Russia's schedule. Open on Christmas Day against the United States. And close it out on December 30th against Sweden. So timeout called now by Larionov.
It's always amazing that with the run-up and the expectation of the tournament, and how quickly things happen in the tournament. You got 5 days, 6 days, and you know your whole tournament can be set up in those preliminary round games. Vasily Podkolzin's in front of the net, and he's going to take this slap shot off the back of the leg, and then Bowen Byram jumps right on top of him. It's a tough couple of seconds for Podkolzin there.
So Akyamov will go now to the Russian bench. 6 skaters on 5 with 45 seconds to go in the third period.
Podkolzin back on the ice, the Vancouver first rounder from a couple of years ago.
Safonov for the face-off against Cousins, who was terrific on draws in last year's tournament for Canada.
Gets some good help there from Gooley as well.
His Byfield chips it back to center ice. Chica throws it right back in. Waiting for it is Gooley. So we get a look now at who Andre Tournier might want on the ice in a tight game. As that puck bounces off Levi over the glass and out. Again, there's no end mesh here, so the puck kind of disappears over the glass.
So Andre Tournier sees a step in Byfield's game from last to this year. Of course, he's out there as another centerman. He's now the second centerman on this left-hand side. McMichael replaces Cousins. But I think his first game out, Byfield's had a good night. He's been physical. He's been on the puck. And while his line hasn't played a lot, he's been effective.
Shinahoff throws that back for Chicken to the point they go. Chistikov with a chance. And that goes off a skate over the glass and out of play.
Russia retains possession, and that's really good clearance in front of the net.
That was
by Justin Barron, who gives Levi an opportunity to see the puck.
So now Cousins for the face-off against Spiridonov. Spiridonov wins the face-off. Back to Amirov. 10 seconds to go in the period. Long shot by Chayka. That's knocked away by Levi.
Interesting, Levi kept that puck alive. He didn't freeze it. And as a result, the clock's going to run out.
A late shot there on Holloway. As he got tangled up with Shinahoff. The time expires and Canada wins it by a score of 1-0. Final shots were 29-23 in favor of Canada, but overshadowing all of that, the injury to Kirby Dach. The Canadian captain, no official word yet, but it did not look good.
Well, that certainly becomes the largest negative out of what was otherwise a positive game for Canada. Andre Tournier is going to head back to the locker room and find out exactly what the status is of Dach.
We're told he's gone for x-rays, so as you mentioned, not a good sign. So Igor Larionov and company will open on Christmas night against the United States, and Canada will open on Boxing Day against Germany. And time now for the player of the game presentations and the national anthem.
1, Team Russia 0. Shots on goal in the third period, les tirs au but en troisième période. Team Canada 7, Team Russia 6. Shots on goal in the entire game, les tirs au but dans le match. Team Canada 29, Team Russia 23. The best players of each team is presented by Explore Edmonton, the visitor economy and venue management organization for Edmonton. Recipients will receive their award after they exit the ice. The best player of Team Russia est le numéro 1, number 1, Yaroslav Askarov. The best player of Team Canada est le numéro 1, number 1, Devon Levy. Et maintenant, pour l'hymne national, for the national anthem of Team Canada.
2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Esso. The Esso brand has fueled Canada's love of hockey for over 80 years. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey teams. By TELUS, helping build stronger communities on and off the ice. When we give back together, we're all connected for good. And by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of Team Canada. The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Chevrolet. Find new reasons to cheer. Find new roads.
Canada defeating Russia 1-0 thanks to the defenseman Jamie Drysdale, the lone goal scorer here, and a lot of positives to take out of this game, including the play of Devin Levi. But we're awaiting the health of Kirby Dach and an update there. So now that their warm-up schedule is complete, Canada can start to look ahead to when the games count for real, for real. Boxing Day is when it'll all get underway against Germany, and of course you can see it right here on TSN. Even though Canada's warm-up schedule is over, it's not done for us here on TSN just yet. Our fourth and final warm-up game comes your way between the Czech Republic and Slovakia starting at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So as I said, lots of positives, but concern now over the health of the captain, Kirby Dach. For Craig Button, Gord Miller, and Ray Ferraro, I'm Laura Dyken. Thanks so much for watching our continuing coverage of the World Junior Hockey Championship from the Edmonton Bubble.